had a wedding in the chapel for parents of a child who was very seriously ill at the time. And that was where I met her. I hadn't met her before. And I know she was very supportive of the chaplains who were putting together the wedding and doing all the legal things and all the different liaising. But I was involved in kind of decorating the conservatory and trying to make it change from being a hospital room to a nice venue for a bit of a reception. And I turned around and there was this consultant I hadn't met before in a scrubs. What can I do to help? What can I do?
I would like to give a patient the care that I would want for myself and for my child. And I think that sums it all up. There's not much more to say. What I want, I'll try to give somebody else as well.
20 minutes later or so, I turned around and there she was in a posh dress, properly kitted out for a wedding there, supporting the family. And at times the patient was actually brought out of the chapel because it was a bit overwhelming for him. And Andrea was right next to him to try and encourage his grandma that actually it's okay, she could enjoy the wedding.
She embodies all three of the values consistently. The ambition that she demonstrates in her role as a clinician is visible. She's incredibly brave and compassionate. She brings a passion along with that compassion, and most recently that was demonstrated with the wedding, but that's something that's there the whole time with Andrea.
I felt joyful about that. I think that's it's a very satisfying phone call to get if parents nominate you for something. It's different than being nominated by colleagues or managers or other health professionals. To be nominated by parents basically means that the care we are providing, giving them as a team, was the right thing.
I can only imagine that at a very difficult time for them, there was some comfort to know, the medical staff are not necessarily just medical, but actually caring about the family as a whole, not even just the patient as a whole, and willing to put themselves out and do things to make something that it was a beautiful celebration of a couple, but within a very difficult situation at the same time, make it as beautiful and meaningful as it could be, and I'm sure they were very, very touched by that.
This story illustrates perfectly putting the child and their family at the heart of everything we do, which is what patient experience is all about.
So Zachary was born with a condition called tracheoesophageal fistula, which he had repaired at day 1 of life. At 4 months old, he then got diagnosed with a heart condition called Scimitar syndrome, which he needed open heart surgery to repair and to survive. In November, he was meant to have the open heart surgery done, but he fell poorly with a pneumonia and pulmonary hypertension crisis. So he was on intensive care at Birmingham's Children's Hospital for 3 weeks, ventilated and sedated. He then got better and went to the ward, and we managed to spend Christmas at home. And he come back in on the 15th of January for his open heart surgery. But the surgery was a success, but sadly a week later he suffered a cardiac arrest, and we let him pass a couple of days later.
I think the reason it became special is because it was quite an intensive relationship. So I saw him over a very intensive period, seeing him multiple times a day, so I naturally spent a lot of time with the family and built up quite a close relationship with both his mum, his dad and Zachary himself.
She got him, she said, I think it'd be really beneficial for you to have a cuddle and for him to have a cuddle. So she gathered a team of nurses and another physio, and together she safely and carefully managed to get him, while he was still on a ventilator and on sedation and numerous other medications, safely out into my arms, where I had a half-an-hour cuddle with him.
I think the reason why it's quite an emotional story, obviously because of the outcome, but also because I think there's a family recognising that what you've done is the right thing.
It was such a magical moment to be able to hold your child that you don't think you're ever going to hold while they're alive again. It just meant the absolute world to me.
At 25 weeks and 4 days pregnant, I woke up with a bit of pain in my stomach, and we decided to come up here. Right outside the Queen Elizabeth building, my waters broke, and when I stood up is when I started to bleed and didn't stop bleeding.
So Helen is somebody that sticks out in my mind because Cian had a very dramatic entrance into the world, really. It was a normal day at work. I walked out in our main reception area and one of our porters came and said to me, "Mo, we've got a lady here and she's bleeding."
She found me in the wheelchair just in the middle of a corridor, took me into the room, got me on the bed, managed to scan me. The doctors actually thought Cian had passed away, that they didn't think he had a heart rate.
We took Helen into a room, and because I'm a sonographer, I was able to scan her quite quickly and establish that, yeah, there was a fetal heartbeat there. Emergency procedures were then started, and the team were just amazing. Everybody worked so well that day. Everybody worked really well together. We pulled together and Helen was taken into theatre quite quickly, and Cian was born.
You're in this moment of, you're so close to losing everything and you know that life is on the balance. How can you feel calm in that situation? But she did, she relaxed me, she kept me feeling somewhat composed in the most traumatic experience of my life. It was terrifying.
I can't believe that I'm doing a job that means so much to somebody, but to know that I've done my job well is more than I ever need.
I was so close to losing everything, not only Helen, but also the gift of my little baby boy, Cian.
We love every single day with Cian because he might not have made it, and without her, she's just amazing. I adore her.
What a fantastic ending to the story, and it's like a fairy tale really, isn't it? It's what dreams are made of, and I just wish them every happiness in the world, and I hope that maybe someday she'll come back and see us again.